I was reading the Bible, Ephesians 4, the other day, and when I read this verse, sometimes when you're reading a verse, a word sticks out to you and you say, I want to figure out what that word means. Well, Ephesians 4:29 says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. So, corrupt communication, what does that mean? It means cutting. And cutting can bring emotional blood. Now, just picture that for a moment. You know, my words can be so cutting that it can tear up a person's emotions to the point that they're bleeding. Doesn't that sound horrible? It doesn't even make sense that we would want to talk wrongly to somebody. And I believe most of the time we don't mean to. We just don't even realize what we're saying. We just talk, just talk without thinking. I know one of the things that I really have to work at when dealing with my immediate family, who most of you know, they travel with me all the time. I have 4 adult children that travel with me all the time, is that I have to stop myself before I talk. I have to think, what's the consequences going to be of what I'm saying? How's that going to come across to them? And I do that especially with my daughters-in-law because they don't know me as well as my sons. My sons sort of cut me slack and they'll say, oh, that's just mom. Or they'll come back to me and say, Mom, you said that and that hurt my feelings. And I like it when they tell me things like that. So especially with my daughter-in-laws, I try to be, think before I speak. How are they going to interpret that? What are they going to think? Well, do you know corrupt communication often comes from miscommunication? Then I was thinking about this corrupt communication and miscommunication, and then I started thinking about in the Garden of Eden. Where was the first miscommunication? Of course, Genesis chapter 3. And how do you see that there was miscommunication? God came to Adam and Eve as he was accustomed to and wanted to talk to them. Have a little bit of fellowship, so to speak. And God called for Adam, and Adam hid from him. He was embarrassed. So that was a miscommunication, that he thought God would be upset with him. Number 2, I see fear was there whenever God finally rounded up Adam and found him. He said, we were naked and afraid. At that point, he had never been afraid of God, because God was his friend. He had great communication with him. But miscommunications made him afraid. The third thing I saw when I started thinking about miscommunication, and part of corrupt communication is miscommunication, is that I saw there was lying. Adam said, the woman whom thou gavest me. The woman said, the serpent beguiled me. They passed I really believe Adam was saying, in my mind, Adam was trying to say, God, you caused this to happen because you gave me this woman who gave me this fruit. So lying. So these 3 elements were involved with miscommunication. Hiding, trying to avoid a person, fearing the person because you don't communicate properly with them, and lying. Trying to not being able to say the truth because you're afraid what they'll think. So these 3 portions of miscommunication help cause corrupt communication. Let's be careful about what we're communicating to other people and be sure we're not cutting other people and causing emotional blood. Oh, I know none of us really want to do this, but are we conscious enough? Do we stop and think before we speak enough that we have good communication? That's what our goal should be, good communication. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice.